Hi, my name is Melania, and today I will be reading a story from Tales of Wisdom and Wonder. The stories in this book are retold by Hugh Lupton, and the illustrations are by Niamh Sharkey. The folktale I will be reading is Fish in the Forest, which is of Russian origin. Once upon a time, there lived a farmer and his wife. Now, the farmer's wife could not keep a secret. Can you keep a secret? The farmer's wife, she could not keep a secret. Anything she was told, you could be sure the whole village would know about it before a day was over. And by the end of a week, what with her traveling to market and visiting here and there, and delivering eggs to all and sundry, by the end of a week, you could be sure that everyone in the country would know about it. And if it was a thing worth knowing, you could be certain sure it would have reached the ears of the king. Nothing travels faster than gossip. Well, one day the farmer was digging turnips up in a field, when suddenly the blade of his spade scraped against the iron lid of a rusty old chest. And when he lifted the lid, his eyes were dazzled by a huge hoard of sparkling yellow gold. Now, he thought to himself, I must be careful. My wife can't keep a secret. If she sees this gold, the village will know about it in a day, and by the end of the week, the story will have reached the ears of the king. And him being a king, and a greedy one at that, he'll want all this gold for himself. And the farmer sat in the field, and he thought, and he thought. In the end, he decided that the only thing to do was to wait for his wife to go to sleep, and then to bring the gold into the house in the middle of the night and bury it beneath the kitchen floor. And that was what he did. He waited until she was fast asleep and snoring in her bed, and then by the light of the moon, he crept out into the field and fetched the gold. Carefully, he carried it into the house and set to work, digging a hole in the kitchen floor. But as he was digging, crack! The spade hit a rock. His wife woke up. She lit a candle and came running down the stairs. What's going on down there? And then she saw the sparkling treasure. Oh, husband, where did you find that gold? Shh, now listen, this gold is a secret. I found it in the turnip field. You mustn't tell anyone, not a living soul. Do you understand? Oh, husband, you know me. I won't breathe a word of it to anyone. I promise. But could she keep a secret? You know, and I know, and the farmer knew perfectly well that she could not keep a secret. All night long, the farmer was thinking to himself, Now, what do I do next? Within a day, the village will know. Before a week's out, it will have reached the ears of the king. He thought, and then he had an idea. Of course, he said, that's what I should do. And first thing in the morning, at the crack of dawn, he was out of bed and off to the village. He went to the fishmonger's shop and bought some silver-speckled trout. He went to the baker's shop and bought some sweet currant buns. And he went to the butcher's shop and he brought a string of fat sausages. Then he went to the forest, not far from his farm. He put the fish down on the wet, dewy grass. He set the buns along the branches of the trees, and he took a fishing line and hooked it onto the end of the string of sausages and threw them into the river. Then, rubbing his hands together and chuckling to himself, he went back to the farmhouse. Wife, wake up! It's a perfect day for going fishing in the forest. His wife sat up in bed, rubbing her eyes. What? Fishing? In the forest? That's what I said. Come with me quickly. It doesn't happen often. There will be fish swimming through the grass, and I'm told it's been raining cakes and buns. Well, she fairly leaped out of bed, flung on her clothes, grabbed a basket, and the two of them set off running across the fields to the forest. They'd only just arrived when she shouted, "Look here! Look at this! It's true! Here are trout swimming through the grass." She picked them up and dropped them into her basket. Lovely plump ones too. Then she saw the buns along the branches. Husband, you were right. Buns. The farmer nodded. Aye, it's been raining cakes and buns all night. If you'd got out of bed quicker, I reckon we'd have found puddles of cakes on the ground as well. Someone got here before us and took them. They hadn't gone much further when they came to the river. The farmer said, I'll just pull in my fishing line and see what I've caught. He reeled in the line, and there, dangling at the end of it, was a string of fat sausages. Sausages? In the river? The farmer's wife gasped. Aye, said the farmer. There are always sausages swimming in the river. Not everybody knows how to catch them, though. And they went back to the farmhouse, and what a breakfast it was, with the plump trout, the sweet buns, and the fat sausages. But do you think the farmer's wife had forgotten all about that gold? Of course she hadn't. By the end of that day, the story of the hidden treasure had spread from one end of the village to the other. And by the time a week had passed, what with the farmer's wife traveling to the market and delivering eggs to all and sundry, the story was known across the whole country. After all, nothing travels faster than gossip. And sure enough, the story reached the ears of the king. And sure enough, being a greedy king, he wanted all the gold for himself. Bring me that farmer and his wife, bellowed the king. So the two of them were brought to the king's palace. Is it true, said the king, that you have found a great hoard of treasure? No, it is not true. Not true at all, said the farmer. But your wife has been heard telling the story to all and sundry until the whole kingdom's been talking about it. And the farmer laughed. But your majesty, my wife is stark staring mad. She's as mad as a March hare. Her wits are quite addled. And his wife stamped her foot on the ground. I am not, she said. I saw him with my own eyes, your majesty, hiding the gold beneath the kitchen floor. And the king looked at the farmer's wife with his narrow, greedy eyes. When did you see this? And the farmer's wife thought for a moment. Then she said, Well, your majesty, it was the night before we found the fish swimming in the forest. It had been raining cakes and buns all night, and we filled a basket. And then my husband fished a string of fat sausages out of the stream. And the king shook his head. Poor woman, quite mad, moonstruck, dizzy as a goose. Sausages in streams, fish in forests, gold beneath floors, raining cakes and buns. Take her home, farmer, and I shall never listen to her stories again. And the two of them went home. And so it was that the farmer kept all of that yellow sparkling gold for himself. And as for his wife, if she started telling secrets or spreading gossip, people would look at her and shake their heads and smile. She's moonstruck, poor thing. Mad as a March hare, dizzy as a goose. So she started to keep her secrets to herself. Thanks for listening.